So the Bombers have had a big win in the VFL over the Sydney Swans. We're going to go through what that means for the senior side because there are a couple of, pretty impressive performances in this match. We're going to talk about that right now.
Play this scramble game, but always striving for...
So the final score was the Bombers 107 to the Swans 42, played in perfect conditions. It was a bit of a slow game at the start, but the Bombers powered away really from the second quarter onwards to have a 10-goal win. Elijah Tsatas was really the highlight of this game. He had 39 possessions, including 26 handballs. He was playing throughout the centre of the ground. He was in the guts all game, and this was really a bit of a statement game from him. I think he thinks that he probably should be playing seniors. I think a lot of us probably think he should, and he really put the foot down with 9 clearances. The 26 handballs, a lot of these were handballs out of the stoppage situation. He played a really good game. And look, if you believe in rewarding players for their good form, he probably should get back into the senior team with this performance. This was a pretty commanding performance. There's still question marks over his foot disposal and things like that. I didn't notice anything major in terms of any deficiencies that I could pick out in this particular game. But his handballing and his work in close was really good. And this was a really encouraging performance. And I'd suggest that he would be front and centre to play next week. Jayden Laverde had 32 possessions playing in the back line, sort of playing that hybrid role that Ridley plays, where he's sort of like, he was playing on Laddams mainly from Sydney, but also sort of playing a bit of an intercept role down there as well, peeling off and getting the ball. He's an interesting player, Laverde. He's one of those players that sort of, when he's playing at VFL level, he seems above the level. He seems, too good for VFL level, but then he's sort of borderline when he plays in the AFL. But given that Ridley is out of the senior side, he's done himself no harm with this performance. 32 possessions, 5 marks, and a tackle. He looked really good. Of course, he got suspended a couple of weeks ago, so he'll be looking to, push on from that. Vigo Visentini, once again, 19 possessions, 27 hitouts. He's doing everything he can do at the moment. He's still a bit raw. Let's face it, it's going to be unlikely that he's going to be playing senior football unless there's an injury to Goldstein. But, he looks the type. There's still a question mark a little bit over his craft, his ruck craft. But look, 19 possessions, 27 hitouts, 7 tackles, 4 clearances. There is a chance if Goldstein goes down that Vigo could play. This was a pretty reasonable performance, I thought, today from Vigo. Angus Clark, I love this player. Angus Clark, 16 possessions, 6 marks, 4 tackles. He kicked a goal as well. Kicked actually 2 scoring shots, 1 goal, 1. People liken him a little bit to Mason Redman. Of course, he won the time trials during the off season. When they say they, people often compare him to Redman, it's because of his position on the ground. His running off half back, that sort of thing. His intercepting, that all those sort of attributes to his game. He played a pretty solid game. Look, he's not going to be playing senior football next week or anytime soon, but I thought his game, at least from what I could see, was probably a 7 out of 10. Gelfie had his second game back from his 10-week hamstring injury, and he kicked 2 goals, kicked a nice long goal in the last quarter. I thought that was a nice goal. Had the 15 possessions, 6 tackles, 1 mark, and look, he was a busy player down there. We are missing Gelfie a bit. He's the kind of player that, he can play tall and he can play small. I think that's why we're sort of missing him. He can sort of play both roles. I think it's difficult for opposition defenders when they're playing on him. You think, well, do we put a smaller defender on him? Do we put a taller defender on him? He's not a small player, and yet he's got reasonable ground level skills, can kick a goal. So, look, 15 possessions, 2 goals. Nothing wrong with that from Gelfie. Nick Cox had his second game back. So Cox last week looked to be playing more in the forward line. It looked today as if he was playing more as a wingman, and he was even pinch hitting in the ruck when Vigo Visentini wasn't in the ruck. So that's interesting. We all know Cox is a versatile player, can play in a number of different positions. I guess it's just finding where he can play. He only had the 2 kicks, 13 possessions, 11 handballs. No marks. Like I said, it looked like he was playing more on the wing and a kind of hybrid on-ball sort of role, which was kind of interesting. 3 tackles and 4 hitouts when he was filling in there for Vigo. So, look, with Cox just coming back from his injury, we just want to see him out there getting a couple of games. I reckon he'll be playing 4 or 5 games in the VFL before he's actually even considered for the senior team. He just needs to get some game time into him after missing, so long. Jayden Dwin. So Jayden Lever, last few weeks, he's really been playing more of a stoppage role on the opposition's best small forward. So we can't really judge him too much on his statistical output. He made a couple of mistakes. I know he gave away an undisciplined free kick at one point off the ball, which led to a shot on goal from one of his teammates being taken away. I saw a turnover at one point. But he had the 13 possessions, 4 marks, 4 tackles. He's still got a bit of work to do. He's a clever little player. He likes going with the angles, when he gets the ball, especially in the back line, going sideways, pushing off to different, positions on the ground. But, he probably needs to improve a little bit. I don't think he'll be playing senior football this year, but all we can really look at from him is just continue with those jobs that he's doing each week on the opposition small forward. And, that's really all you can ask from him. Alwyn Davey played probably his best game in a couple of weeks, had 15 possessions. He struggles to get into the game at times, Davey, just with his size. I've always said that, he does tend to get pushed off the ball with his small stature, but he had the 15 disposals, kicked 2 goals, and also had the 2 tackles and the 5 marks, and was a reasonable contributor for the team today. Reece Unwin wasn't a major contributor. He had the 8 possessions just for the game and the 3 marks. I like the way this guy moves. He's a little nuggety left footer. I like the look of him, but he didn't have a huge role or a huge influence on the game today. Lual had just the 7 disposals, but he finished the game with a bit of an injury. Not sure what was wrong with him, but the doctors were working on him on the ground just in the last quarter. So he received a bit of a knock or something there. So I'm not sure what was going on. So, his assets are his quickness, his speed, but he didn't really have a huge influence on the game. Let's just hope he's okay just with that knock. Kale Geron, again, hit the scoreboard. He's kicked 12 goals this year now, and he's hit the scoreboard. I reckon his last 3 games have probably been his, probably 3 of his best 4 games have been his last 3 games that he's played. He had the 3 scoring shots today, 2 goals, 1. He pinched it in the ruck a little bit when Vigo was off the ground, as Nick Cox did. Had the 6 marks. I don't think he'll be playing senior football, but look, the fact that he's 200, people forget how big this guy is. Kale Geron is 200 centimetres tall. He is not really recruited as a ruckman. He's really recruited as a forward. But, he's another asset down there. Say if Peter Wright can't play, something like that. Kale Geron is capable of that hybrid ruck forward role. So, another 2 goals from him today. Just keep the goals happening, Kale, and that's, all we can ask from you. Mensie was a pretty good player in the first half. It's looked like where he did most of his work in the first half. I didn't really notice him too much in the second half. Had the 12 disposals, 5 marks, 7 tackles and a clearance. And all in all, it was really a pretty good team performance. But really the talking point out of this match is, Elijah Tsatas' performance. 39 possessions, 26 handballs, 9 clearances. He did look a step above, VFL level. What do you guys think? Did any of you see the game? Do you think Elijah should come back into the team next week? I think he should. It all depends on the performance of the seniors, of course. But that's my quick report on the VFL game. I hope you enjoyed the video, everybody. Have a great day. And as always, go Bombers.
Bombers fly.